From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping to the Great Wall of China and back to the streets of Boston where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is This Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about but maybe afraid to voice. Do not worry, we'll voice it for you. We talk about it all. It's no holds barred radio, folks. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, UFC, politics, you name it, we'll talk about it. And we got some stuff to talk about this week. A lot of stuff in the news. We have another special guest, a friend of the show, Tom Loeffler on. We want to talk about the boxing happening coming up. Of course, my co-host, TJ Santis. Tom, TJ, happy day. How are you?
Hi, happy day.
Hey, Tommy. So, Tom, I know I'm going to see you in Boston Saturday for the UFC, but you've got a lot of stuff coming up with our buddy Callum. Let's talk about his next boxing event and let the audience know when they can watch Callum. I mean, he's probably one of the most, or if not the top 5 exciting boxers in the boxing world today, up and coming. So let us know how to watch him, where to watch him, and when to watch him.
He's fighting. He's coming back to the ring August 26th here in Los Angeles at the Commerce Casino, live on UFC Fight Pass. Doors open at 4 o'clock. He's fighting. It's a big step up fight. He's fighting Velasco from Argentina, 24-4. Juan Jose Velasco. And it's funny you're talking about Boston. TJ was out there with us, and when Callum fought there at Boston, and Dana just dropped that Looking for a Fight. I don't know if you saw that, but it's got over 500,000 views when it's kind of featured Callum out there hitting the punch machine when he fought there at the Agganis Arena. And the promotion that Callum is getting, like you said, he's one of the most talked about fighters, especially the rising stars. Yeah. The cross promotion between UFC fan base and everything that Dana's doing for him and the marketing and the boxing, what we're doing on the promotional side, really kind of elevates him above any rising star right now in boxing.
Well, it's exciting. I mean, who else is boxing right now that his opponents are not making it out of the 3rd round?
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, no offense to Nate Diaz and Jake Paul, but they went their 10 rounds. But Callum's taking care of business and ending it quick.
And quality opponents, that's the key. Is he's 7-0 now with 6 knockouts, but he's fighting solid. He's fighting solid guys for where he's at in his career.
No question. That's Saturday in LA on the 28th.
Saturday the 26th at Commerce Casino. Rumor has it you've won lots of money over there at the Commerce Casino.
One of my favorite casinos. Yeah, I've definitely walked out of there with a few bags of cash. The tournaments there, much less the cash games. One of my favorite casinos to play. It's one of the most famous, poker casinos in the world. Well, Tom, get back to me right before that because I may be in town.
Oh, that would be great. We might have. That'd be great if you can join us for that one because it looks like we have some celebrities, some Hollywood celebrities out there. So you'd fit right in, Bruce, just like you do at all of our shows.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm not a big fan of that word celebrity. I think it's a little overused these days with everybody thinking they're famous for having, a few 100,000 or a few million followers on Instagram, but that's the world in which we live.
Well, I think if you're a celebrity these days, you have to box. Like it's a rule now.
Get punched in the face. That would be good. Hey, Tom, speaking of getting punched in the face, let's talk about the Jake Paul, Nate Diaz bout for a second. And I'm really looking forward to Callum's bout, of course. What have you heard about the pay-per-view buys for the show? I've heard anywhere from 1 million plus to some extravagant number of 4 million. Have you heard anything that's realistic on the pay-per-view buys?
I don't like to speak on other people's promotions if I don't know.
We're not putting it down. I'm not criticizing it. Just
No, I actually heard less than that. What I've heard, but again, I don't have anything to base it on. It's just what people that I know in the industry. Obviously, I knew all the Triple G pay-per-view numbers and everything like that, but.
Right.
I bought it. I watched it. I thought it'd be entertaining with Jake where he's at in his boxing career, and actually Nate Diaz, a UFC legend. So I thought it was for the event itself. You can see they sold tickets. So people are coming out to watch them fight.
Yeah, no, it was a big hit. I mean, pretty much all the UFC fans that would tune in. If you tuned in, believe me, they tuned in. Yeah. It was entertaining. It was a definite moneymaker for both of them. They're not fighting, if you look at each opponent, with all respect to Nate and all respect to Jake Paul, we're not talking on the level of Callum. We're not talking on the level of Canelo. But Jake Paul says he wants to box Canelo. What do you think would happen if he boxed Canelo?
You know, that's I think he knows. I think Jake's doing the right thing, fighting big names that he's favored. I was actually surprised, not surprised, but it was interesting that the crowd was solidly behind Nate. You know, it was a Jake Paul event, but the crowd, the audience were cheering for Nate Diaz, UFC legend. So I think Jake's doing it the right way, where he's definitely learning. I know some of the trainers he's working with, and he's training hard and learning on the job, so to speak. So he's fighting big names that are, you know, not necessarily the most competitive in the boxing ring, but it's working for him. With Canelo, you know, you saw kind of where he was at with Tommy Fury. With Canelo, I think it's a whole different ballgame. Naturally, the numbers would be a lot bigger fighting at Canelo, but the competition definitely that's going to be a whole different ballgame fighting Canelo in the boxing ring.
Yeah,
What does Canelo fight at? What weight?
Right now, he's fighting at 168. He's got all the titles, undisputed champion at 168.
Yeah, so Jake Paul's trying to pick another fight with a dude who's significantly smaller than him.
He did fight at 175. He lost to Beeble at 175. I think Jake Paul, this fight with Nate Diaz, was in 185, which again was a big advantage for Jake over Nate. What did Nate Diaz fight in the UFC? 155, or what was he fighting in the UFC?
Yeah, he flip-flop 55 and 70.
Yeah, 55 and 70.
All right.
Probably walks around at 195.
There you go.
Oh, I don't think he walks around that big.
You don't think so? Considering how tall he is?
No, maybe 85 at the most. At the most, because he's not a thick individual. You know what I mean? He doesn't carry a lot of body fat. He's jiu-jitsu guy, and he's got jiu-jitsu body. But like, here's the problem. Like, it's the same thing with Logan. Logan picking fights with Floyd Mayweather, things like that. Like these fights don't make sense when it comes to fair matchmaking, because like I saw a post the other day and it kind of drove me crazy. It said, what's the difference between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor? Well, Logan Paul was able to get a draw off of Floyd Mayweather, where Conor lost. And it's like, it was, you survive, you go the distance, it's a draw. It's not like a legitimate draw. He didn't almost win the fight. Like, right. And that's why I think that, you mentioned it, Tom, people were cheering for Nate. People don't like some of the antics by the Paul brothers. And that doesn't necessarily have to be something that they need to rely on to make money. I mean, some of the biggest pro wrestlers in the industry made money being the bad guy. I think that Jake Paul makes money being the bad guy, but it just on the outside looking in, I'm not maybe the target market. I'm not necessarily going to buy those pay-per-views, but I definitely am not going to be inclined to buy those pay-per-views when there are these fights where Jake is just the much physically larger athlete.
It comes down to the entertainment value and the attraction. Here's the way I look at it, Tom, and I don't know if it's going to carry over into a Canelo fight or even into one of Callum's fights or boxing events, excuse me, but it's going to brings young eyeballs into the sport. And that's the one thing that I think is great about it.
Does it though? Because like, here's the thing, they come for those fights, Bruce, but do they show up for a different fight? Are they watching Haney and Lomachenko? Are they watching Spence and Crawford? I don't.
No, that's the point I'm trying to make, is they're watching boxing when they see their influencers or these people they're attracted to, but I don't think they're tuning into the Spence and Crawford or the other fights.
Yeah.
Boxing events. But we'll see.
I was just going to say, one thing I give them credit for with Jake is, he sells his own tickets, sells his own pay-per-view buys, so he's not getting guarantees, where other people are losing money putting up a guarantee and then he underperforms. So, he is, kind of creating his own momentum. I think Canelo would jump on a fight with Jake Paul, and that would be kind of a huge spectacle, I guess is the best way to.
I saw a video with Canelo. I agree with you, but I saw a video with Canelo and they asked about that and he was smirking and, but he was very respectful, and he just basically said that Jake should continue to do what he does, but watch who he's calling out as far as different levels. In so many words, different levels of talent. There's different levels of talent in boxing.
Yeah, that's true.
Watch who you call out, or watch what you say. What does it say? Watch yourself before you wreck yourself, or whatever.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah,
check yourself before you wreck yourself. But you know what? Listen, all credit to him. Jake's out there talking. He's bringing attention. I'll say it again. Young eyeballs are thinking about boxing.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're seeing more into UFC, but they're thinking of boxing. For that, I'm all for it. And for other reasons, I'm all for it. And the work he's doing with the PBL or PFL, PFL,
PFL.
Yeah.
PFL, and everything else, more credit to him, right? All publicity is good publicity. Just spell my name correctly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, listen, we gotta touch base here. This situation in Maui is absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
I've traveled Maui a few times, as Hawaii and all over Hawaii. Beautiful, beautiful islands, beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful everything. Tourists are still going to Maui on vacation. And I saw this video of a local there who obviously her family suffered badly. And she's like, none of the locals are swimming and surfing and snorkeling. We're trying to deal with what we have.
Right.
I'd have a hard
Yeah,
time.
but think about this though. I mean, Hawaii is a state that relies so much on its tourism,
That's their main
as far
source.
as economics, right? So I understand where maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to go, or maybe people there who are going through hard times would, see tourists and be like, why are you here during this difficult situation? But at the same time, they're putting money into the economy. Most people aren't booking trips to Hawaii on 3 or 4 days notice, right? It takes months in advance to get, time off of work and save up. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't go. I would feel uncomfortable going to Maui during this difficult time. But I do think there's something to be said about the tourists that are, continuing to go there on their planned trips and putting money into their economy.
Well, while that's happening, tragically so, and again, it's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking for me to read this or know about it. I know people
Yeah.
in Maui too. Haven't been able to get through to one in particular, but out of the 106 dead that they found, which are ones out in the open because they have not been able to go through all the homes and businesses incinerated yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only what is it? Only 5 have been identified as to who they are. It's going to take It's going to take weeks. There's
What's crazy to
185.
me, oh, sorry, Buff. What's crazy to me is just how wet that environment is and how much this, fire has spread. I mean, I understand when, California burns down, it's dry, it's a tinderbox, just kindling waiting to ignite. But the fact that a place that is as lush as Maui is on fire and as bad as it is, that's sort of crazy to me that it's been that widespread.
Yeah, it's staggering. And the amount of rescue workers, basically around 185 search and rescue workers are there, 20 cadaver dogs, which specialize in, of course, what that obviously means, finding
Right.
cadavers. This is as much of a war zone as we saw in 911,
Yeah. It really looked like a fireball went through there. And there's a lot of different theories about that. It's bizarre how none of the warning sirens, they have so many sirens on that island, and none of them went off before this. And a lot of people, like you said, got caught on the road in their cars, kind of not expecting it to come through so fast and so hot. And it's nice to see Dana announce $1 million donation to the relief efforts from the UFC. So that's that's always great to see.
That's very good of Dana and other people stepping up to bat with those kind of large numbers.
Yeah.
Get this though, out of the search area they found where they've been able to find these 106 people and all, the governor says only about 27% of the area has been covered. Some people put it at 32%. I mean, it's going to be horrific.
It's going to get
pans out,
especially in the buildings, like you said. When they go in the buildings where people were together, that those numbers could get much higher.
Yeah, well, there's other things too here. There's key roads are closed. The roads in Maui are not like roads in LA as a rule.
Right.
Displaced residents are in hotel rooms, Airbnbs. The drinking water is unsafe. They're under water advisory rules. They shouldn't drink or even boil the water.
Wow.
Right. And the Lahaina fire in Western Maui was 85% contained, and the other one in Kula in Maui, 60% contained as of Tuesday morning. I've been in bad fire situations I've talked about on the show in Malibu growing up with the horrific fires we had out there, but the expanse and land involved is much wider. This hits home with me a lot more than maybe some because I've been involved in bad fires and seen the devastation it can do. It's just tragic all the way around. And my heart and my condolences and everything go out to the families and the loved ones of everybody involved in this. I just hope everything comes out as best it can for everybody.
Yeah. Our thoughts are with them out there.
Thoughts are with them. Yeah, there's no question. Thoughts are with them. Let's talk about something else. You want to hang on for a second with us, Tom?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, this really grinds my gears and really makes me sick, and really is a sign of times that I'm sorry, I can't see getting better. I can only see getting worse. These smash and grab flash mob robberies, right? I remember reading about it in Chicago with the Walmarts and all the others that were getting hit there, and the department stores closing down. But where I live in Los Angeles, it's getting close to home here. I mean, they have 60 people, 60 whatever they're called, and I could call them whatever I want, run in, hoodies, masks, the whole bit, to a Nordstrom's,
Right.
right? Completely devastate the Nordstrom, stealing like $300,000 worth of merch, right? Something like that. Yet another case in Glendale, I think it was, where a jewelry store lost, the owner sits there and watched $900,000 of his life and handmade jewelry, go out the door. Louis Vuitton, 30 go in there, rob it of some $600,000 or 300, whatever it is, hundreds of $1,000s of merchandise.
Yeah.
And people just sit back and watch. And then
Yeah, I
you
don't-
see the CVS's and they're walking in, just dumping them into shopping carts, and owners are telling their employees not to get in the way. They could be fired if they stop them. And then this
Right.
recent California ruling that if you steal less than $1,000, it's not a felony, it's a misdemeanor. Where are we going?
It's unimaginable. It's crazy what's going on. I agree with you 100%, Bruce. I grew up actually right there by Topanga Mall in Woodland Hills, so that hits home close to home. Like you said, Glendale Galleria, Century City Mall. It just seems so organized, and it seems like society is going downhill so fast, and you can't do anything. As a private citizen, it's almost like you want to get involved, and then it's like they tell you can't get involved. I think there was actually a statute passed that the security can't get. I don't know. It's hard for me to even fathom where things are going here in California.
Is
Well,
that a
it's
new law, the $1,000 limit? Because I've understood what like grand theft is, right? Like if it's over $1,000, you get charged with grand theft. But like the idea that it's just a misdemeanor under $1,000, is that new or has that always been in the books?
new.
It's new.
It's new.
Since the pandemic. Since
Yeah, and
people,
also,
yeah.
go ahead, Paul. I mean, Tom, go ahead. What?
Oh no, I was just saying because the situation during the pandemic that they had passed that where if it's under $900, it's not going to be prosecuted, and it's just like the police get frustrated. You arrest somebody and then they're out the next day, or they don't even get arraigned. It's just it's bizarre. The no cash bail policy, that doesn't make any sense. Our DA here in LA, and I hear it's worse in San Francisco.
Oh,
I mean,
let's talk about that for a second. I mean, one of the most beautiful cities, historical cities,
Yeah.
culture-filled cities, is now one of the worst cities, if not the worst city in the United States. I mean, you can't even park your car. People are actually parking their cars and opening their windows to show there's nothing to steal.
and so they don't
Right.
break them. You're
So
right.
they don't break them.
Right.
And it's rampant and nothing's happening. I mean, this is like a futuristic horror film
Yes.
going on right now.
And no penalties. There's no penalties.
There's no
and
penalties.
Right. That's
And when I hear some people say, oh, well, guess what? Real estate's going to be a great buy in San Francisco because it's going to go down. F you. Okay. I don't even want to think about, I want to think about what to make it better. I don't want to hear about how I'm going to make money off this thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, where's the priorities anymore?
Plus the safety of the children and the families, and you can't, you really got to be careful these days where you're going, at what time you're going, where you're going. Before, you didn't have to worry about that, and now it's like you really got to kind of plan out if you're going to put yourself in danger or your family.
We'll take it a step further too. In San Francisco, you walk around, there's drug paraphernalia all over the streets.
Absolutely.
Needles, this, that, and the other. You walk around with one of these on your wrist, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting in my office. Okay. I don't wear it on the streets anymore.
Right.
Right.
You're right.
I mean, you're in Beverly Hills. They come up and stick a gun in your face and take it.
Yeah.
Melrose Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What am I going to do? Die over a friggin' watch or
Yeah.
pull my piece and fight back like a gunfight? I mean, what's going on here, Tom?
Yeah, it's really it really is devolving. Society's devolving. Like you say, you feel so powerless, and try to call the police these days, and good luck with that. They
have they have the situations where the cars are coming in, closing down street corners, doing their donuts and their bullshit, in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
These freaking young people, do they have anything better to do with their brains, for God's sake?
And the police are.
Sorry, everybody. I'm not putting the young people down, but this is it's not just young people. This is a wide range of people. But these incidents are getting worse and worse, and the police come and it's strengthened numbers.
Yes.
You can't do anything. They're worried about their own. Aside from the defunding that's going on with the LAPD and the sheriff's department here, for whatever reason, that is causing them to not have the ability to fight back and answer calls. Now, I'm going to give you something else that's scary. This is a thought, and I hope I'm not creating thoughts in people's minds by saying this, but I got to say it on the show. Okay, you have 30, 60 people organized, coming in, parking their cars and running into Nordstrom's, Louis Vuitton, whatever the case might be. What's to prevent them from going in an affluent neighborhood like Beverly Hills, picking a central area for 2 blocks, bringing in 200 people, getting out of their cars, and then hitting every home?
Shutting down the streets.
And shutting down the street. Is that next?
You're right.
Well, I mean, taking over a whole neighborhood, I think is a little extreme, but the idea of the organization. That's how extreme. No, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, it's one thing to hit a store. It's another thing to try to like hold down a neighborhood for hours while you go through everybody's home. I think the SWAT team would be brought in, and I would hope, at least. I don't know anymore. But with that said, I think they need to change the laws to come down on these people that are in the organized type of situations that you're describing, Bruce, where that's organized crime, is it not? Like you're an army of criminals. Like
if it's premeditated and organized, it's organized. It's not. We're not talking about the mafia here. It's called organized crime.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like those guys, like the $1,000 rule or whatever, needs to not apply to them. It needs to charge every single one of those people with the grand total of the amount of merchandise that was stolen.
And what's going to happen when some overzealous person that has a CCW, a concealed weapons permit, or a security guard who's able to carry a gun, unloads and blows one of these fuckers away?
Yeah, and then they're the ones going to be prosecuted. Look at the store. Yeah. What was it? 7-Eleven store, where the store owners, supposedly the guy was a repeat offender. He came in and had his garbage can, was just unloading everything on the shelf, and they
the baseball bat.
And now they're getting prosecuted for defending their store.
They're getting prosecuted?
Yeah, that's what they're looking into that. Yeah, that's the thing. You can't even defend your store anymore. That's what makes it so bizarre. Because if the criminals knew that there's someone there protecting their store, then they're going to think twice about going in there. But it just it's really wild where we've gotten to.
Well, what's also wild too, when I talked about a citizen or an owner doing that, what about when one of these guys turns around and starts hurting people?
Right.
What do you do then? Oh, you let them off? There's not much more to be said. It's frustrating as hell for me. Yeah. It's disgusting. It's
a current topic that's just happening. It's exploding here in this area. You're right.
Yeah. And when I watch these videos, like of even just a normal looking lady or guy walking in, and then they pull the stuff from they pull the merch out of their hands, or they just walk in and they walk out like nothing's happening and laughing.
Yeah.
It's just complete. We've already gone over it. It's completely frustrating. Totally frustrating. So, all right, guys. Now they just busted. Have you get these scam calls?
Oh, all the time. No one ever calls me except scam callers.
Well, the FCC just finally cracked down on a massive illegal robo call operation. You get the auto warranty scams. Your warranty on your thing.
See, I didn't know those were necessarily scams. I just thought they were like bad business offers.
Well, that's the whole point. You just pointed out a key point. I did not know they were scams. I thought they were business offers. I mean, think about somebody that just looks at it even less loosely and says, okay, great, here's your money.
I mean, if anybody calls me asking me to buy something at this point, I'm just like, like I buy things that I want. So I go out and find them. Like I'm not a target for sales, anything.
Well, the FCC hit these scam artists with a $300 million a judgment fine. What authorities said is the largest such network ever investigated. Now on HBO, there's a special now called telemarketing, right? Or telemarketers.
Okay.
And I was in the telemarketing industry for years in my 20s. I sold office supplies, but this is on the scams that are happening. And there were scams in office supplies too. Very interesting to watch when you see this. I recommend it. Kind of scary, but honestly, I'm going to tell everybody right now, do not buy anything over the phone. Don't buy anything. Take me off your list. Bye-bye. Hang up. Don't buy anything. And also, even on the old infomercials, I would tell people not to buy anything there either, because you don't realize that they're going to keep billing you every month.
Sure. Yeah.
many
I'm a
price-
sucker for those as seen on TV stores, though, man. If I'm in a mall and there's an as seen on TV store, I'm buying the whole damn lot.
I'll tell you another one on Instagram. You know, when those ads pop up, you know, buy this product, buy that.
Oh, I bought a few things off there.
I bought 3, 2 have never been delivered, and I did get 1.
See, I always get them. They're just always, I mean, they are what I thought they were, but my curiosity gets the better of me and I just end up buying them. But 9 out of 10 times, junk.
Well, here's one. An Australian supermarket. This is kind of crazy as we talk about supermarkets. A spider, right? The store evacuated if they're highly.
I know this story. This is a crazy story.
A highly venomous spider was spotted in the store, right?
Yeah.
It has a bite that will kill you. It's a 4-inch black and red spider. It popped up at the penny store.
Maybe this isn't the story.
I know
I
it
heard
is. It
about.
is. I know
okay,
it is.
Okay.
I'm not done yet.
All right.
This creature's gone as far as Europe. It's usually hiding in bunches of bananas being shipped to stores. They closed down the store, and the picture of the spider, it's scary looking, man. All right, you ready for this, Tom?
Yeah.
It can't only kill you, but it causes permanent erections. If it bites you, you'll have a permanent erection.
You'll be dead, but you
dead and erect, or not dead and erect. Are you kidding me? Does it get any weirder than that?
It's the Viagra spider.
Yeah, it's Viagra spider. They'll probably take it, whatever's in the spider, and try to make something out of it, but at a lesser dose.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, but isn't, I mean, again, I've never dabbled, but I remember all those old television commercials that are like, consult a physician if it doesn't go away after 4 hours. Like if you're rocking it for 4 hours, I think that there's like a problem and it needs to get cut off or something.
There's a word for that. I got to find that. It's called priapism.
Okay. Yeah.
Erection lasts more than 4 hours without sexual stimulation.
Wow.
Okay. Any other subject we can cover here? Oh,
wait, without sexual stimulation? I thought it was after you do the deed and it still doesn't go away.
No, it's like it's from what I've read in the past is if you take like too much, let's say Viagra, you could have this even after your escapade, and it's still there. You're not being stimulated; it's just still there.
Yeah.
I know a guy that pops Viagra like candy. Like he's addicted to it. I don't understand.
Huh.
Can you get high off?
He's addicted to Viagra.
Yes, thank you, Buffer. I appreciate it. But no, I don't understand it. Like some people, they never mind. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Those are interesting emergency room visits.
Well, speaking of subjects in the area of Derek Lewis's balls are hot. Derek Lewis, for his famous saying, actually has now been hired. Who do you think hired him, TJ? Tom, who do you think hired to do a promo? Think about it.
I'm getting dude wipes or something, maybe, or
Manscaped. Manscaped.
Okay,
finally got the beast.
The
beast is finally doing a Manscaped.
There you go.
I like that.
How appropriate, right? That's perfect. That's perfect. I'll speak of Derek though. I'm happy to see you sign a new what is it, 9-fight contract with UFC.
Yeah, and like, my goodness, you want to talk about calling your shot, like going out there knowing it's your last fight on a contract, and big badass Derek Lewis lands a flying knee knockout. Like
Perfect.
What? Like there had to be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, added to that contract that weren't going to necessarily be there before that flying knee knockout.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, good for Derek. I like Derek. He's a good man. He's a fan favorite. People love him. Good for him.
He's got like a 6-pack now when he fights. Like what?
Hey, more power to him, man. More power to him. Speaking of UFC, we got UFC 292 coming up Saturday. Big fight from Boston. TJ, you're heading out there tomorrow. I'll be out there. I'm going to be doing a Puncher's Chance promo at the TD Garden, at the market at the TD Garden, where I think the weigh-ins are going to be happening from 4 to 6. So come on by and check out, say hi, and get your bottle of Puncher's Chance while I'm there. But on Saturday, Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley. This is a big fight. I'm happy to see Sean get the bantamweight title shot. John Anik is on record as saying he thinks that Aljamain Sterling is the GOAT of the bantamweight division. How do you feel about that, TJ?
I still go Dominic Cruz. When I factor in Dominic's run, not only at bantamweight in the UFC, but also in the WEC, I still kind of lean his way. But Aljo's a strong number 2 at this point.
I'm with you on that. And you've got Zhang Weili and or Weili Zhang and Amanda Lemos for the strawweight title. Interesting, Amanda's number 4 contender going against Wei Li. I'm not questioning her fighting for the title. I'm not questioning it at all. Is there anybody else you think should have fought Wei Li before?
No, because you look at the other players. They're either like Carlos Esparza, who just lost the title, Rose Namajunas, who's fought Zhang Wei Li before. It makes sense. It's
Rose,
a little curious.
Rose is saying she doesn't want to. I think Rose might be done.
Yeah, maybe, but it looks a little odd when you see the numbers. You see a number 1 taking on a 4 through 10 or whatever, but it is what it is. Those numbers and rankings, yes, it's a hierarchy, but it's not necessarily the way it sort of works in boxing, where you try to get to that number 2 ranking or number 1 ranking, and then you're the contender. Like you can hold the number 1, number 2 spot, and it might not make sense for you to fight for a title.
Right. Well, it's got a dynamite card. Brad Tavares and Chris Weidman are on the prelims on ESPN, and you have the 2 tough finalists, which have been announced. Right?
Yeah. So Cody Gibson takes on Brad Katona. I used to call fights with Cody at Toxic Palace for like 3 or 4 years, and I'll be honest with you, I thought his career was pretty much on the backside. He had made it to the UFC, ran into a very tough Aljamain Sterling, and Aljo's debut was cut. Maybe unfairly. I think maybe a little bit before his time. Obviously now he's in the Ultimate Fighter finale, so he's proven that he's still got more in the tank. But no offense to Brad Katona, but in my heart of hearts, I'm pulling for Cody Gibson, because he's a guy that is fighting into his mid to late 30s. That I thought his career was over probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Right. I agree. And then you have Austin Hubbard going up against Kurt Holobaugh.
Holobagh's a guy that I think never really lived up to his potential. I think a former Titan champion. He's a guy that hasn't. I mean, it's hard to say they haven't lived up to their potential. You get to the UFC and you've maximized your potential, right? You're going to get the biggest paydays. You're going to get the biggest opportunities. But happy to see Holobah making waves, and we'll see how he does.
Okay, well, definitely a solid lineup. Looking forward to it. Show starts late, 6:30 in Boston, but it's East Coast. That's to be reckoned with.
That's normal. Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's the thing I hate about Boston, or not Boston, but the East Coast shows.
East Coast.
You're getting done at 2:00 in the morning. You know what I mean? It's like, what?
2:00 in the morning, and I got to head to the airport at 5 in the morning. So typical one for me.
I'm right there with you, Buff.
Do you hear about Cardi B throwing her microphone in the audience at the person that threw water or something on her?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, they put that microphone on eBay, and it auctioned off for $100,000.
Wow.
But the guy didn't pay for it, so now it's still out there. I wonder what the rule is on eBay if you agree to buy something and you don't pay for it. I don't see how you're going to chase them down for the money.
Yeah.
Anyway, our sponsor, medicaleverything.com. Everybody check it out for great stories on how to take care of yourself, health and fitness, the whole 9 yards. Let's see what else is in the news. Oh, we have a serial killer in the news again. Oh my God. I don't want to.
You're just full of the happy stories this week, Buff. My goodness.
Serial killer grounds prostitutes into mincemeat and sells them to the cops hunting him.
Oh, stop it. I don't want to hear about that. I'm a serial killer.
I don't even want to go there.
I'm a serial killer. I destroy Honey Nut Cheerios. I destroy Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch, all dead.
And here's a cool story. I always love how they do this. I don't know how they figure it out. They found an arrowhead in a lake in Europe that was 3,000 years ago made from a meteorite.
Oh, wow.
So how do you of course there's ways to figure that out. 3,000 years ago made from a meteor that hit the earth.
All right.
Don't you guys find that kind of fascinating at all?
I mean, it's crazy to me.
It's really crazy. And by the way, they pulled Logan Paul's Prime drink off the shelves in New York.
Which one? The energy drink or the hydration?
I think the energy drink. I think it was due to the caffeine in it, and because they were,
I heard
marketing to kids.
Caffeine in those Prime drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more. Oh, go ahead.
No, every state, every country. Like in Canada, you can have, if I'm not incorrect, 180 milligrams of caffeine in your can, give or take the size of the can. In America, 200. So must have been over, but the drink is selling like crazy. They captured 4% of the market share, sold like 220 million in the first year.
Hey, they taste good, and when you look at the caloric intake on it, man, like it doesn't add up to me. Like it tastes sweeter than Gatorade and has like a tenth of the calories. I don't understand it.
Well, it depends what they're using for sugar or sweetness.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like they use like coconut water as like its base. But I don't know. My kid loves it, and he doesn't actually love it. He just loves the idea of loving it. So I can't tell you how many primes I've bought that just go half drank because he doesn't actually like the taste of it.
Did your kids tell him that they were selling it at school? Because my nephew Rupert, he knows I know Logan, we're buddies. One of his buddies asked him, knowing that I know Logan, if I can get a couple cases because they're actually selling it at school because it was selling out so fast you couldn't
Wow.
get it in the stores.
That's interesting. I love it personally. Like I drink the heck out of it. What do they call it? They call it ice pop, but it's really like supposed to be flavored like a bomb pop. You know, the red, white, and blue popsicle. Like all day, I'll drink that.
And there's one flavor I like because they have it at the show and I'll grab it too. Yeah, I do like the taste. I haven't gone over all the ingredients yet, but I do like the taste. More power to Logan. You know, the guy's knocking it down.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the thing too. It getting taken off the shelves, like I wouldn't read too much into that. It'll probably, go through some sort of investigation. Remember that Four Loko drink that they were selling at like 7-Elevens that had like 3 Red Bulls and like 18 shots of vodka in it or something back in the day? Like that fell off the shelf too for a minute, and now everyone's drinking Four Loko again. So I don't know.
Crazy. Hey, just an interesting thing here. I'm not trying to cause them. You know, these sexual abuse allegations that come out against people, right? And
Mhm.
again, if you do the wrong thing, you should pay for everything you do wrong. But you remember Chris North from Sex and the City, Mr. Big?
I can't say that I do. Never watched that show.
And
Mr.
he's
Big.
popular. Here's an example where he hasn't, by what I'm reading here, in 2021, there was a story published in the Hollywood Reporter of 2 women who used pseudonyms to protect their privacy, accusing him of sexual assault on them
Mhm.
from incidents occurred in 2004 and 2015. Their accusations, and to what I'm reading, there's not been any like found guilty or anything like that. But to show you what happened, this is a very popular actor in his own right. Here's what he suffered without any proof that this happened, just the allegations. He was fired from the CBS show The Equalizer. He was dropped from participation in another show, and just like that, he was dropped from Peloton ad, which he starred in, which was a probably a well-paying thing, and he lost a $12 million deal with this tequila company,
Hmm.
all because of the accusations. Crazy. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to comment, but this is a wild world we're living in.
Yeah.
Every generation says that, for the record. Every generation. I just think that we might be right for the first time.
Maybe so. Who knows? Anyway, on that note, spiders, UFC, flash mobs. Hey, Tom, you got something good to tell us, TJ?
Yeah, we need some positive news. So just going back to UFC 292 in Boston, Ian Gary is going to be on that show also. That's one of Callum's countrymen.
Right,
And
right. I like watching him fight.
we were up at the PI, and Callum saw him training, and they were talking, and they really struck up a good friendship. So it'll be we'll be looking out for him on that Boston show as well.
Very
He's
cool.
got a big fight. He takes on Neil Magny. That's an interesting fight, to say the least.
Neil Magny. Was this the 14th time he's fought this year?
I don't know, man. Something like that.
God bless Neil. He's a great guy, man. He definitely is out there. I got some good news. It's Time Cologne is now on UFCstore.com. All
Hey,
UFC
look at
fans can buy
that.
it.
That's great.
UFCstore.com. It's Time Cologne, and still
You
the
need to
top
get it in
seller.
the concourse. You need to get it in the actual events.
There's something about selling bottles at events because of what could happen.
Yeah, no, trust me, I know. Every time I go get a Prime bottle, I'm not kidding you, they take the cap because it's a throwing object if the cap is on. I mean, first off, I'm buying something that's like $15 to begin with. I'm not throwing it away. I'm just saying that. You know what I mean? But
well, this is actually $80 in the stores, but $50 at UFCstore.com. So take advantage of your discount.
oh, wow.
Top selling cologne on Amazon. It's all there. Smell like a champion. There's my commercial. Tom, what's up? We're going to sign off.
And we also have TJ, isn't Cheeto? He's coming to our fight August 26th. He's fighting in Boston and then coming to our fight, Callum's fight August 26th. The reverse of what Callum's doing.
Yeah, and Bruce is very familiar with Cheeto Vera. He's been on the show a few times. And Tom, it's funny. I bring these UFC fighters on to talk with Buff, and then they don't even end up talking about fighting. Like Bruce and Cheeto have done like 2 hours on surfing together. I don't know why. It just
Because I like to talk about something more than the obvious. Everybody else wants to talk about your last fight. We can get that done in a couple minutes. Let's talk about what makes the man tick. You know?
Right.
So we're excited to have him at our event and to watch him in Boston as well.
Yeah, Buffer, you got to come out August 26th, Commerce Casino. Come on, hang out with me
at the end of the week. I'll know if I'm in town or not. Absolutely, I would like to.
All right.
Awesome.
Tom, I may have a few guests, so better cough up those ringside tickets, baby.
You're good. You're good, Bruce. We got them reserved for you.
Who's announcing your fight?
Lupe.
Oh,
Lupe Contreras. Yeah.
Lupe Contreras, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What does Lupe say? What's his thing?
He doesn't have necessarily like a tagline like everyone else does. Yeah. I kind of like Lupe's style. Lupe's just clean.
No, he's clean, classic boxing style. Lupe's a solid announcer. There's no question. All right, TJ.
Extra rounds live this Friday from Hurricanes right next to the TD Garden out there in Boston, Massachusetts. If you're going out for UFC 292, we're going to be live at 5 p.m. on Friday. And then if you're in the building on Saturday night, we'll be broadcasting on the concourse. It's going to be me, Jason Anik. No, I didn't accidentally say John Anik's name wrong. His brother, Jason Anik, identical twin. The only difference between them is like a bunch of hair. Yeah, a bunch of hair. And Bilal Muhammad will be joining us as well. So come on out and put in some extra rounds.
Very cool. I don't know how many people are going to be there, TJ, because I'm going to be at the market at the TD Garden. You get your puncher's chance, sign it, and take pictures.
But what time? What time?
4 to 6. I'm there from 4 to 6, TJ. Sorry if I interfere with your
crowd. Well, no. They can go hang with you from 4 to 5, and then I'm a 2-minute walk away from the TD Garden. They come hang out with me. So I'm sorry that your last hour of your 2-hour appearance is going to be empty. Sorry about.
So the weigh-ins are at 4.
Yeah,
I'm at 4 to 6, and you're at 5. They got a lot of stuff to do in a very small radius. Very, very.
Hey, cool. It's a very small jaunt from each thing, so they'll be able to get it all in.
All right, sounds good. All right, Tom, thanks very much. I'll look forward to seeing you hopefully on the 26th. Please remind me before that. Absolutely. Everybody, I'll see you from the Octagon Saturday night, UFC 292, must-watch show for all UFC fans. TJ, see you there or not see you there. And when you're there, I rarely see you there, but hope to see you there. How did that sound?
I don't know if I've ever seen you there, actually. It's very odd. I see you in the Octagon.
You see me, I haven't seen you. That's all I can say.
I promise you I'm there. Tom has seen me there. He knows.
I've seen TJ. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We love you all. Tom, thanks for coming in. And TJ, as always, I'll see you next week. I'll see you this weekend, hopefully. Tom, I'll see you on the 26th, hopefully, too. Everybody have a great week. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. Set your goals, write them down, learn about them. So when you step on that yellow brick road to your future, you're performing your best. And if you are, then you're winning. And that's what we're all about at It's Time Radio. It's all about winning. So big cheers and no fears. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay safe. Be happy. Best I can tell you. All right, everybody. Buffer out. Cheers. Thanks.
And if you steal stuff, make sure it's worth less than $1,000.
Oh, TJ, what did you do? Oh, man.
Sorry.
If you steal stuff, you're an a-hole.